Back to My Garden, episode 80.
Welcome to Back to My Garden. Discover your passion for gardening. Here's Dave Ledoux.
Are you concerned about toxic chemicals, GMOs, and frankenfood? Don't panic. Grow organic. Discover my new resource for organic gardeners. Go to www.backtomygarden.com/myorganic. Attention gardeners, do you love homegrown tomatoes? Free report reveals the 5 dirt cheap tools I use to grow 22 types of heirloom tomatoes, including my secret soil booster. Download your copy for free today at www.backtomygarden.com/free report. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world when you listen to this. I'm Dave Ledoux, and welcome to a special edition of Back to My Garden. Tremendous guest today, folks. Adrianne is the Gardenista. She's a voiceover artist, a former radio DJ, and a garden lover. She encourages all of us to dig it and let's grow together. We have a ton to talk about today. I want to welcome from Greensboro, North Carolina, Adrianne Denise. Hi, Adrianne. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Sensational. I'm glad you're here.
I'm so excited about being here.
I gave you a very brief introduction, and I want to get to know you better, and our listeners definitely want to hear your stories. Can you take a minute or two, just relax, and let's get it rolling. I want to hear a little bit about your background, and how did you get into gardening?
Okay, well, like you said, I was a former radio personality. I did that for 20 years. And I just left almost 6 months ago and to dive into the world of gardening. So as I was doing my DJ thing, I got into gardening when I moved to North Carolina almost 10 years ago. And so it wasn't anything that I was really serious about. There was someone who was interested in me who is a good old country boy. And he asked me if he could help me start a garden. And I thought that would be cool because I had been introduced to it a little bit by of a former friend of mine. So we set the garden up. I didn't pay too much attention to it that year. It was just free fall. It was interesting. The next year, I wasn't friends with this person anymore. And I really was missing my fresh tomatoes and cilantro. So I thought, well, I don't have anybody to help me. And then so the type of person that I am, I thought, well, you don't need anybody to help you. You can do it all yourself. So that year, I started a garden almost midsummer. It was like maybe in June. And I started my garden, and that was about 2006. And it's been heaven ever since.
Yeah,
totally addicted.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, you're coming up on your 10th garden.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, you've given us a lot to start with there, Adrianne, and I want everybody who's driving, keep both hands on the wheel. You don't need to take notes. Adrianne and I are going to make a resource list, and everything we discuss is going to be up on the blog at Back to My Garden. I want you to follow Adrianne on social media. Instagram. You have some awesome photos up of your garden at the Gardenista. I'll have a link up on the site. And then on Twitter at Gettin' in Garden. And your handle's called the Gardenista. So I'll put a link up for that as well. It's amazing, isn't it, how you can connect with people all over the world on Twitter.
Absolutely.
I saw you had some peppers in your garden on your Instagram feed. Maybe we'll start there. What do you love to grow?
I try to do it all. I grow things that I don't even eat because I just want to see how they grow and experience it. And I'll just share the food with someone else who likes it. But I grow peppers and okra, onions. I grow cotton. I grow all kinds of greens, kale, collard greens, broccoli, cauliflower. I mean, there's not too much I don't try. And I'm really, my number one crop this year and beyond will be gourds.
Ooh.
I'm heavy into gourds now.
And there's so much you can do there. I mean, species are endless, the varieties.
Oh, yeah. I grew 7 different variety this year and this summer. And just, I mean, they're so magical. I'm a gourd geek now. I love them so much. And I actually ate a loofah this year for the first time. And it had a squash taste. Of course, you don't let them get as big as the loofah that we bathe with. You pull them out when they're still young and tender and peel it a bit like a banana. And it had a bit of a okra squashy taste with an Asian flavor. It was pretty good.
You just blew my mind. I'm in uncharted territory here. I have no frame of reference. Like right now up on my kitchen table, my wife has 2 kinds of gourds, like a big red one. And then it's almost shaped like a bell and it's kind of a tan beige color.
Okay.
Man, I should have thought. I never prepared. Look at me. I'm in deep water paddling. Then we got the spaghetti squash, which we have a lot. My wife's gluten-free, so we've kind of swapped out your classic pasta for spaghetti squash.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh.
Now, with my spaghetti squash, I have grown it, but when I tried to prepare it, I didn't like the taste. The taste wasn't the way that I've tasted it in a restaurant. Do you have like a special way you do yours?
I'm more on the eating side of the team than the cooking side of the team.
Okay.
But you're right. It does not taste like a big plate of spaghetti, no matter what the vegetarian. Oh, yeah, it's just like, no, it's not. But when you have the right sauce on it.
Okay.
So traditionally we do you cut it open, scoop it out, boil it. But then it's a heavy bolognese sauce, like a meat sauce.
Okay. Cool. That's cool.
Note to the listeners, though, if you're swapping out pasta for spaghetti squash, it burns in the body so clean and so fast. You're hungry again in 2 hours.
Really?
Like you get a lot of energy, but it's a clean burning fuel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's good to know.
But loofah, nobody has come on the show ever and said, I've eaten a loofah. That's awesome. So your garden must be beautiful, like different colors and shapes and varieties of textures.
Yeah, it's got a lot going on. And I do try to, I'm such a garden geek. I build blueprints every year of my garden and what's going to go where. And sometimes, of course, it goes off course a bit, but it's easier for me to do crop rotation that way when I can go back and reference my blueprints from year to year. So I'm really into designing. So I really do try to make my garden look cute. It's hard, especially once you get towards the end of the summer. It just looks horrible. But I definitely build all of my gardens with cuteness in mind.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like graph paper, you draw it out?
Yeah, well, I just use like regular scratch paper or whatever, but I draw it out. I do the measurement so I can figure out how much exactly I could get in that space and what will grow too big. And yeah.
Are you dirt on the ground in rows or raised beds or containers? Or
dirt on the ground.
Nice. In
rows. I do have a couple of herbs and things in pots, but pretty much just the regular old way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite way of adding nutrition to your soil? Do you mulch?
Well, I have a compost heap.
Oh, nice.
So I try to do the compost heap, but I've realized I'm learning that compost shrinks a lot. Mm-hmm. So you have to be producing a lot of compost. But I do usually get like compost soil from the county extension, and I'll add that, or manure from local farmers who have horses.
I interviewed a gentleman from England named Mick, and he's a composting machine. Like he is like world class.
Wow.
And he made a deal with a couple of ladies who do the cooking for an old folks retirement home. Mm-hmm. And he takes away their kitchen scraps every other day.
Wow.
Because he requires that much compost.
Yeah, it's a lot. You know, I keep a little bowl or a little container in my refrigerator, and we just kind of dispose of all of our compost there and dump it out like once or twice a week. But we've been doing that for a year, and we're still only going to have a small little amount to be able to share with the garden. But it does. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go ask my neighbors if I can have their scraps. And it really does help with trash or waste in the house, like in the home. Our garbage isn't, a horrible odor or anything like that, because there's no real living organisms in there. Just rubbish.
Isn't it incredible when you start to do that, how conscious you become of the waste? It's like, hey, don't throw that out. That's gold.
Yes. Like I go to others' house and visit and things, and I feel so bad when I see them throwing little compostable things away. I'm like, oh. It really, it's amazing how much we can waste when it's usable.
Do you have a routine? Do you go back there with a pitchfork and turn it, or just kind of neglect and let it go on its own?
This year, I neglected it. The first year I started a compost, I was really into it. But this year I kind of neglected it just to see if nature would take its course. And I only did a little flipping when it was time to switch it from one area to another. And it seems to be working just fine.
Oh, yeah. I'm that way. I'm a beginner, and so I'm way too attentive. I'm way too emotionally attached to stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, tell me about your tomatoes. Are you one kind of person, or do you have varieties?
No, I do I try to do 3 kinds.
Nice.
Cherry tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, and the big Beef Master tomatoes.
Is that the variety Beef Master?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so each one for different reasons. The cherry tomatoes make the best topping for bruschetta with olive oil and fresh basil. And so that's always awesome. And those are like the eat while the summer is here type tomatoes. And then with the Beef Master tomatoes for sandwiches and things like that. And the Roma, I like to make sauce with. So if I get those 3 in, I'm good. But I do try to venture out and try different things every so often.
Fantastic. So you make your own sauce and can it?
Yes. I will not can it, but I freeze it in like the vacuum sealer type bags and freeze it.
That's amazing. There's no comparison, is there?
No, not at all. There is none at all. That's why I'm completely organic and no GMO type foods or anything. And gardening has put me there. Like there's no way I could eat fresh cucumbers that are green and with bumps on them and they look as they should. I can't eat that all summer and then go buy this big, huge squash looking thing. That's a cucumber in the store. It's very hard.
My wife and I were at the store the other day and we saw grapefruits from South Africa.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know how far away South Africa is from rural Canada? That's come a long way on a boat.
Yeah.
And so they got to pick it, green, underripe.
Yes.
And then it takes a month to sail there.
Wow.
There's got to be a better way.
It's got to be.
I wanted to ask you, this season was a really bizarre one for American weather because of the drought in the Southwest.
Yeah.
What kind of season did you have? How did your plants fare?
My plants did pretty well this year. Everything produced fairly well, except for my tomatoes. I have a reason why. And the compost from the extension was not good. It was nutrient deficient. I want to say it was magnesium. I can't remember what it was missing, but so all my tomatoes were leggy and just sickly looking, especially when the heat wave came through and it kind of like knocked it out. But I had pretty good success with everything else this year. But I kind of, again, not neglected, but everything kind of got the half stare this year because I was so focused on my gourds, because this was the first year I was really into those. So, but I did have a good turnout. My peanuts didn't do as well as I wanted. I had cotton producing, like I had so many blooms and balls ready to open with the cotton, and then the frost came through and killed it all. So I didn't get as much cotton, but I got a full bag, a sandwich bag of cotton this year. And so, yeah, that's about it.
Those do seem exotic to me because I'm way out of the peanut and cotton and okra zone.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, it's good. There's nothing like fresh peanuts. Like, oh, gosh, they're great.
I don't know if I'd even recognize a peanut plant because I just, it's not in my part of the world.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, they're pretty cute. It kind of resembles faintly, almost like what sweet peas look like, but they don't trail up. So it's like a little bush of what sweet pea leaves look like, and with little blooms. They have little blooms that come and go.
Do you have to build a trellis for them, or they're kind of freestanding?
Yeah, they're freestanding because they bush out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, we have people that listen, Adrianne, like they have a lot of city dwellers with a couple of pots on their patios.
Yeah.
And so when you get to hear a gardener that actually grows cotton and peanuts, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Did anything frustrate you other than the tomatoes?
Let's see. Not really. Just the fact that my peanuts didn't do as well. And my herbs, I'll say like my dill didn't grow as well as I wanted. And, but I think this year was pretty successful for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're moving into your 10th year next year, your 10th garden.
Yeah.
You're a good planner. You've already admitted to that. Have you given any thought to what you're going to do differently next year?
Yes. Be more anal and organized. I still don't have it quite the way that I want it, so that at the end of the summer, I want my garden to work like this well-oiled machine. Now, I know there's only so much I can do to control that because nature is truly in control, but just because I have an issue with insects, so that I can keep my garden more insect-free, and so that it doesn't get too scary for me towards the end of the summer, I am going to do a little bit more spacing and more trellising this year. That's what I definitely, because my cucumbers always get away from me, and I never get the best harvest I can out of them. So things like controlling my tomatoes and my cucumbers are definitely on the to-do list.
I understand completely. I had several tomato plants that by the end of August, everything green on the plant was dead. It was just a brown stick with these unripened tomatoes hanging off of it.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, don't fall down and please turn red. It just... And they're mocking us. Nature doesn't necessarily move on our timetable.
Exactly. That's what one thing that gardening has taught me is patience. It's taught me patience, and it's taught me to look ahead in a positive way. Like you can always, I think now, just before gardening, it was always like, oh, well, I messed that up. But in gardening, it's like, oh, well, I'll just do it better next year. Next growing season, I'll do better versus, oh, it's over. So it's taught me patience and just, it's okay.
Nice. Adrianne, I glanced at the clock and our time is whipping by. Now's the time in the show where we play a game called 5 Quick Questions.
Okay.
This is your chance to share your wisdom and experience with brand new novice rookie gardeners. Are you ready Are you ready to play?
I am ready.
Question number 1. What's the funniest mistake that you've ever made in the garden that you'll admit publicly?
Yeah, I poured vinegar on trying to kill a weed that was really stubborn, and it was next to my broccoli plant, and I totally killed the broccoli plant.
Excellent. Great story. I'm taking notes for the show notes. I'm wondering how we're going to phrase that one, the vinegar broccoli disaster. As an aside, we'll just pause the 5 quick questions. Have you had some success killing weeds with vinegar?
Absolutely.
Nice.
It doesn't last as long as the, store-bought stuff, but it definitely is effective. Yeah. You just have to stay on top of it more.
It's so back in the 70s, you could buy so much poison. Like, you bought poisons for everything. And now, it's just the attitude has changed dramatically in 1.5 generations.
Yeah.
Nice. Question 2. What's something you're really good at in the garden that is either a time saver or something that's very useful?
Oh, wow. A time saver. I don't know, because I kind of get in this zen where I'm just like this mad gardener, and I'm in my space, so everything flows. But I think my biggest time saver is when I'm planting, I pre-dig the holes. So I pre-dig holes and then drop things in them instead of digging and then drop. I don't know. It seems to save time for me.
Oh, sure. Plus, you can eyeball the row then.
Yes.
Space
absolutely.
Everything. Nice. I like that. Question 3 is internet related. Lots of great resources and gardening blogs and gardening sites. Do you have 1 or 2 favorite websites that you like to share with the listeners?
I really don't. I don't mix electronics with gardening.
That's smart.
So if I'm out and I need to know, if I'm out in the yard and I have my phone, because I do keep it with me for picture's sake, that's the only reason. But if I'm out and I need to know how deep something needs to go or how far apart, I may just Google it, but I don't have a specific site that's like, to me, I haven't found that site that is just like, this is everything I need to know as a gardener.
I noticed you're really good at the photo side, like the visual images. Yeah. Do you have any tips for the listeners? Because it's almost like you're not scrapbooking, but you're like recording the history of your season.
Absolutely. And when I go back and look at years past, and I'm like, wow, that didn't look as bad as I thought. But I just love it so much. And I see so much beauty and so much happenings going on that I just want to capture all of those moments as much as I can.
Nice.
And my goal one day is to hopefully have a coffee table book of, like a gardener's journey and just share these beautiful pictures that people walk past and they don't realize there's beauty, so much beauty around us that we just ignore.
I know for a fact that some of the little elves over at Timber Press listen to this podcast. So if there is a junior producer listening, contact Adrianne about a coffee table book. For those of you on social media, make sure you connect with Adrianne on Instagram at the Gardenista. And if there's something you want her to shoot some photos of for next season, let her know.
Absolutely, I would love to.
Yeah, get the feedback. The gourds for sure. I mean, they'll be amazing. The colors.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of them are so gruesome looking or interesting looking, And
yeah, and they all, they're almost like snowflakes because no one is exactly alike for some reason, whether it's a bump or they're so amazing in the process. The process that they go through from the rotting stages to turning into art. It's just, They're wonderful.
I love it. Do you buy seedlings, or do you save seeds or buy seeds? How do you do?
I usually just buy seeds. If it's heading towards closer to the season and I haven't had anything take off, then I will go out and purchase seedlings. But I really love to try to start from the very beginning because there's so much more of a connection with me and the vegetable.
I understand. That's good. My wife and I planted garlic recently. And I got it from this Amish kid. He's got to be like 19. Like, you know how they wear his beard is the thinnest, neckiest, like he's barely old enough to grow a beard. And his wife is probably younger than he is. And they have a little stall at the farmer's market. And, you strike up a conversation with him. And I got the garlic bulbs from below the table. Like I'm on the VIP list, I guess. Like when he sees me coming, he goes under the table he gave me a hot pepper seedling too, so I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Do you guys have good farmers markets where you are?
Yeah, we do. It's pretty huge.
Yeah.
We have a really, really big one here. It's the Piedmont Farmers Market, and they have everything you need.
Yeah. Yeah. You just wander around and meet other gardeners.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, question 4, speaking of other gardeners. Do you have a favorite gardening book to recommend?
I do. Now, my favorite gardening book is, as I forget the name, The Vegetable Gardener's Bible.
Ooh, good.
And look, if you can hold on 2 seconds, I'll run and get the author's name.
Yeah, I'll entertain the listeners by humming.
Okay.
Fantastic. For those of you driving in your car, stay focused.
Yes, so it is the Vegetable Gardener's Bible by Edward C. Smith.
Edward C. Smith. Awesome. I'll put a link up in the show notes to that.
Yeah, and this thing, like, it has everything you need to know, and from A to Z, really, it goes in that order. It has the list of companion gardening. It'll tell you when to start, harvest. It takes you from seed to harvest with just about every vegetable.
Outstanding. Good resource. Yeah. That's the best way to find good books, is talk to gardeners. They know.
Yeah. To me, if you have that, you don't need anything else. Anything else is just because you love gardening.
Question 5 is a fun one. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
You kind of have to go back in your memory banks to when you were just beginning. What is something that every brand new gardener should try to grow next season?
Well, I'd say lettuce or tomato.
Nice.
And one reason why I say that is those are common eaten things, and if you taste those in the garden, you'll be hooked.
I love it. Does your lettuce bolt? Do you have any strategies on how to properly pick lettuce?
I don't. It does bolt, and just depending on how wacky the weather is, it will bolt a lot sooner than I was expecting for it to. So I just try to get as much as I can out of the lettuce while it's growing.
We had our best lettuce ever, and my wife found I should have bookmarked it, but she told me how to do this, so I got instructed. So this year I had an old pair of kitchen scissors, and I would cut 2/3 of the outer biggest leaf around the heads.
Okay. And
we had fresh lettuce way into August this year.
Oh, wow.
It was unbelievable. Like, we couldn't eat all of our lettuce.
Oh, wow.
And I've kind of been telling people, hey, was it a fluke? Did we do it by accident? Have you got any ideas? So give it a try next year, is just cutting the outer leaves, the big mature leaves, 2/3 with a scissor.
Okay. I will definitely try that. I'm excited.
On the plus side, too, my wife is deathly afraid of earwigs. And this method kind of kept the earwig population to a minimum. So,
okay, so there are more gardeners out there like me that are deathly afraid of bugs or some type of insect. That's good to know.
I have very few jobs. Like I carry the heavy stuff. I take out the garbage. I kill the bugs. That's my role. My assignment.
I've learned to try to work with them a bit, but like bees, I love bees now. I actually want to raise bees since I realized their importance in the garden. But like praying mantis, I cannot get over it.
I can pick those up. I don't mind. They look goofy though.
Oh my gosh. They stare at you and they watch you. And I swear they're just like looking at me and checking me out.
We're getting better as we get older. Like last summer, my wife was trying to take a picture of a bug on a leaf in the garden with her cell phone. I'm thinking this isn't going to end well. And a huge bumblebee flying through the air, minding its own business, collided and hit my wife in the head. And she just looked at the bee and said, "Go away." And normally she would freak out, and I was so proud of her.
Yeah. Like the bumblebees, I can definitely, I'm like, they're so awesome. This year I actually touched one on its butt because he was inside of the flower just getting all full of pollen and everything. And I thought, I wonder, can I wipe that pollen off of him? So, of course, with my garden gloves on, not bare hands. But I touched him, his little butt, and he didn't even pay me any attention. He just kept on going with what he was doing, and I thought that was so cool. We had a moment.
We had a moment. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized I better wind up our podcast here.
Okay.
I'm laughing. I have tears in my eyes. That's funny. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I took about a third of a page of notes for you. It's up on BackToMyGarden.com. Adrianne has a great Instagram. You can follow her at The Gardenista. On Twitter, her handle is The Gardenista at Getting in Garden. I'll put a link up on the site as well. I'll put a link up to her book recommendations. Adrianne, you're an awesome guest.
Thank you.
We have to have you back after next season.
Absolutely. I love talking gardening. And you know what I've discovered in my travel is that gardening is more universal than music. And it can connect people of all ages because you only have flowers and vegetables. And even with those two, there are similarities so much so that you can still have an awesome conversation. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the last word to the listeners today. All over the world, like 30 countries are listening to us right now.
Wow.
Can you leave them with a pearl of wisdom or a note of encouragement?
Gardening is the most rewarding thing that you can do in life. What the hard work that you put in, you get back.
Wow. Absolutely brilliant. Adrianne, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to be back soon.